Giving all praise to Yahweh, Shalom to the 144,000. And the rest of your elect out there, shalom to you all. And I'm going to title this video. I'm going to have a little fun with this video too. I watched most of it, so I pull it back almost to the beginning. Anyway, the title of this video, according to the IUIC, Edomite Jesus going to make a comeback. And we all going to have to worship him. So this is a video, GMS. Vegas sit downs 144K. I put some comments there. I'll read the comments. Still teaching, title, still teaching. As you can see, still teaching that Russia is part of the beast and Caesar, Christianity, is the image or the image of the beast. And Russia is not a part of the beast system at all. Russia was not a part of the beast system 2,000 years ago. Russia is not a part of the beast system today. So we're just gonna let it play, and then I'll kind of break in from time to time. So we're at almost 3 minutes in.
We know that it stemmed from the Catholic Church, which is the false prophet, right? So we know that the Christian Church is definitely part of prophecy, but how are you still going to say that if you ain't worshiping Christianity, that means that you're not worshiping the image of the beast and you're going to be killed? It doesn't make sense, but I'm gonna go into this, real briefly. All right, and I forget this elder's name. He been around for many years, but I'm not big on.
Yeah, Deacon Malachi. I believe he's from the tribe of Dan, because they changed it. Not all Benjaminites are not all West Indians are Benjaminites, according to the new understanding of IUIC or the Bishop Nate. Some of them are the tribe of Dan, so I believe he's Trinidadian, and so he would be from the tribe of Dan, which they're going off on that, waxing worse and worse. But his name is Deacon Malachi. Sometimes they refer to him as Deacon Malafia.
On names, but here you're gonna hear them go into that list of nations that make up the 7 heads and the 10 horns, and they still have Russia in that list, which I have no idea why.
Yeah, why? Because they don't know. The spirit, Nate is winging it. He knows most of the things that he teaches, he got from One West anyway. Like 95% of the stuff that he teaches is from One West. So when they went off, the 7 went off on certain things, and because they said they used to teach that, and ISUPK teaches that as well. Russia's part of the beast, the beast system, because that was taught back. That's what the 7 used to teach, which they went off on. Scripture saying, Job, great men are not always wise. So we checks everything like the Church of Berea, baby.
All right, if you in this thing,
that's a T-shirt right there.
Everything that we go into, it has to make sense. It has to coincide with historical facts, and definitely with prophecy. All right, and Russia being a part of the beast, it doesn't make sense historically or prophetically. All right, we know that Russia is the bear. What does the bear have to do with the eagle or the dragon? So let's listen to this real quick.
The image of the 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, you got the 7 heads, which is Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, Great Britain, and okay, the 8 is America, which I will show you all as.
Wrong. Russia's not a part of it. Now I don't know if he's talking about 2,000 years ago, because truth be told, if you didn't go and look it up yourself, that's why you got to look up things. Russia didn't come on the scene until about 860, 865 AD. What do they call it? CE, the Common Era, which is AD, Anno Domini. And you know who the founders of Rome are? They were Israelites. They were, what do you call them? I was just speaking about it. The Scythians. The Scythians were Israelites. The Apostle Paul encountered the Scythians and told them that they can receive salvation. So these Russians, these these Russian dudes, they be fighting Jake and beating the shit out of Jake too sometimes. Go head to head with Jake. A lot of them motherfuckers, they look like Edomites, but them's Jakes, man. And I met when I was boxing, I used to meet, deal with and spar Russian guys, and them niggas was down to earth, you know. If you didn't know no better, you'd think they Puerto Ricans and shit.
As I keep on reading, which had 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, so this.
And you should have, when you going into that, them 7 heads would also be a part of the 10 horns. All right. But you got Russia in there. What the hell is Russia doing with these European countries?
Because Nate is winging it like he always do. We call him the wing master.
When the European Union and NATO got their start, Russia had their own alliance. They were dealing in the Soviet Union, the former Soviet Union. All right, and then you had the Warsaw Pact in the 1950s, and then they started to dissolve over the course of time. All right, their partnerships started to dissolve, and they started going their own separate ways, and then eventually you had the East that, basically went to the other side, and they became part of the NATO, if I'm not mistaken. So Russia posed a threat to those European countries, which is why they formalized together in the first place. So how in the hell would Russia be a part of that? They still haven't broke this down to make it make sense. And of course, their followers, their congregation members, they don't think to, question these things. I don't see them behind closed doors when class is over with. I'm pretty sure ain't nobody going to them and pulling them to the side and asking, "Hey elder, hey bishop, hey deacon, can you explain this to me? Where in history did Russia ever be a part of this alliance? Show me where in history where Russia was ever a part of the beast." Now you can even go. So we got AI now. They answer a lot of questions. All right. So there's no excuse. You can look these things up. I went in and typed. I said, was Russia ever a part of the NATO-EU alliance? And this is the response. It says Russia was never a member of NATO or the EU. So how is it a part of the 7? If y'all teaching that the 7 heads and the 10 horns is NATO and the EU, and then we know that America is a part of it, through NATO, right? How in the hell is Russia a part of that? Why would they even be listed? It says, dealing with NATO, Russia has historically been viewed as an adversary to NATO, the beast, particularly during the Cold War, when the Soviet Union led the opposing Warsaw Pact. After the Soviet Union's dissolution in 1991, after the Cold War, Russia engaged in limited cooperation with NATO.
Right, you had the former USSR, which is now Russia. If I'm not mistaken, Ukraine was part of the former USSR. So This is about bringing the Russian landmarks back together. Ukraine, somebody help me out. I'm not going to look for it. I don't know everything, but you can Google it. I believe Ukraine was a part of the former USSR. United, what is it? United Socialist Republic or something like that.
Through mechanisms like the NATO-Russia Council established in
United Soviet Socialist Republic, I believe.
2002, but it never joined the alliance. Relations deteriorated significantly after Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014, and further with the 2022 invasion of Ukraine. And dealing with the EU, Russia has never been a part of the European Union. The EU and Russia maintain economic and political dialogues, such as the EU-Russia Partnership and Cooperation Agreement.
Yeah, they could do partnerships. U.S. did partnerships. U.S. and Russia were allies during the time of Hitler, during the Hitler era. World War II, they were allies against Germany. And Germany is an ally, under EU and NATO, which NATO partners of NATO, Germany, Great Britain, America, Canada. So yes, you had trade deals with your so-called enemies, but Russia was never part of the beast, the outside of the beast.
In 1997, but membership was never pursued. Russia's political system, territorial disputes, and divergence from EU values like democracy and rule of law made integration incompatible. Relations worsened after the 2014 sanctions and the 2022 Ukraine conflict. No formal membership or alliance with either organization has ever existed. So, you continuing to teach this
because they don't fact check. They just go by what they learned. Nate goes by what he learned from the 70s. He runs with it. That's why he still says to this day, the first Israelite emperor of Rome was a Septimius Severus in 193 AD, which he doesn't do. He doesn't fact check. Doesn't fact check. The first emperor among Jake of the Roman Empire was a man by the name of Nerva. He came after Domitian. I go through that all the time. That's why when you go to 2nd Ezra 11 and 2nd Ezra 12, they mention the 12 feathers. There was really more than 12 because you had under Caesar's less. That's my term. You had Julius, which was one of the heads, but it was 12 prominent individuals there that ruled the Roman Empire. So why did it stop? When it stopped at 12, the 12th was the younger brother of what's his name? Titus. So when Domitian had died, I forget how he died. I don't know if he got killed or whatever the case may be. I gotta go look it up. It's worth a Google. Nerva came in, and that was a Jake. Then you had Marcus Aurelius was one of them. You had Hadrian was one of them, and there was two more. All I got to do is look it up, and they were considered the 5 good emperors. Those 5 good. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me do this. And I did this before. See what the bishop does. He regurgitates, like he teaches his people. He regurgitates what he learned from the 7, and they went off. Back in the day, I used to show them that they went off on certain things, and they would fact check and say you were right, and they would change it. He had to hard said he looked it up, and it mean I'm the one that put the counter together. When the house of David was set up, They threw it in my lap because they didn't know where to go to set up the calendar. And that's when I said that the Sabbath is not Friday, sundown, Saturday, sundown. Actually, I said it before the split. I said that before the split, because I asked our high priest Ariel, did Abba used to teach that the Sabbath was based upon the new moon, and he said yeah. So I knew about that because it was Yahya that told me, oh, you know, Abba taught that the Sabbath is based upon the new moon. You don't know Yahya the clown. Anyway, what did I say I was gonna do? Oh. The 5 good Caesars of Rome. Okay, here you go. These are all Jakes. I said Hadrian, right? Nerva, Trajan. Nerva was a Jake. Trajan was a Jake. Hadrian was a Jake. Antonius Pius. Pius meaning basically humble. And Marcus Aurelius, which was the father of communists. And they were known as the 5 good emperors of Rome because they did good, they did the right thing for the people because they were Jakes. They were Jakes. And most of all of them, let me do this. I believe all of them had beards, but I believe Nerva didn't. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's open this up. Marcus definitely had a beard. In the movie Gladiator, he had the beard. Antonius Pius, he had the beard. Notice they ain't got straight hair. Hadrian, a beard. Nerva, they had him looking like an Edomite, but he was a Jake. Trajan, they had him looking like an Edomite, but he was a Jake. And they came out with the movie. Look at that. That's a curly fro right there. That's Marcus Aurelius. And Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic. So there you go. And this is supposed to be Nerva, because they said he didn't have a beard, and I guess I believe this is Trajan. But you had them Caesars, they had them full beards because they were Israelites. That was the spirit. Not that they were saying that they were Israelites, but they hey, what does it say in Romans, the 2nd chapter, around about the 15th verse? Being, how does it go? Became a law unto themselves, meaning they know in their spirit, they say a man should have a beard. It wasn't because Paul didn't go up there and tell them, oh, you guys are Israelites, you got to rock beards. That's Marcus Aurelius. But some of them had to come up in the ranks under Esau. That's why Esau fights so hard against us, because he knows the history. He knows the elite know that Jake got up in high office and just pushed Esau out. So we ruled the Roman Empire longer than Esau ever did. He ruled the Roman Empire for about approximately 150 years. We ruled it for hundreds of years. Really, 1,000. Because the Byzantine Empire, the Eastern Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire fell, which was Jake. And you had the Eastern Roman Empire, which is also known as Byzantine. Empire. And it went from Roman rulership to the church fathers or the religious rulership. You know, the Council of Nicaea and all that good stuff. So instead of you know, regurgitating that stuff you learned from Yeshaya, do a little research and you can sound a lot more deeper. Where the hell is the so let's come on back over here. Hey, the movie that was put out, I didn't get a chance to see because I'm mad at Denzel. I ain't gonna watch his new movies no more because I heard about him. He played Mike Cranus. So I'm looking at the Gladiator 2, so I'm like, wait a minute, Ridley Scott had this guy playing the Emperor. So I looked him up, and it was an actual guy named Mike Cranus. He ruled for a year from 217 to 218. I forget the emperor. The emperor that came after him killed him. Told him, look, when you defeat him, chop his head off and bring his head to me. I believe in a box. So he only ruled for a year. So Ridley Scott, I believe that was the producer and the director. He had to put Denzel in there because he said he went into the history, and he said, well, you know, Mike Cranus was a Jake, so we got to get a Jake actor. So if he was true to the game, he would have got Jake actors to play Marcus Aurelius and Commodus, his son. And the main character, which was the Spaniard, he didn't even exist. They just put him in there. That's called creative license. So it was partially true history, but he added stuff to it. So come on. Where am I at? How'd I come back to the beginning, man? Give me a second here. Okay, here we go. So let me X this out.
You know, it just shows, you know, the error. And that's why, like, you know, when we go into these scriptures, you know, and the Spirit is on us, you know, we're able to detect the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Matter of fact, let me get that. I believe it's in 1 John. And when we do these kind of lessons, people think, oh, here go GMS hating on IUIC again. That's all they talk about. You know, they stay talking about IUIC. You know, because they're jealous. They, you know, because we're making progress. Nah, man, it has nothing to do with anything but.
If you were making progress, you'd be teaching the truth. If you were making progress, you wouldn't take your ass over to Kenya. You ain't got no business being over. As Lahab said, nigga, what you doing over there? See, I put these in because the elder asked for I don't know the brother's name, so I gave his name, Malachi, Deacon Malachi. And he asked another question. I don't know what one of the apostles or bishops can tell me. Did the seven used to teach that? Yes, the seven used to teach that. And who changed it? Me and the other apostles. Mainly me.
Side the word. All right, anybody that's, you know, going off in the scriptures, you have to be corrected, reproved. All right, this is 1 John 4 and 6. It says, "We are of the Most High. He that knoweth the Most High heareth us. He that is not of the Most High heareth not us. Hereby we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error." Okay, and they're definitely in a spirit of error if they're continuing to teach this, because this is not supported by no history, and you definitely can't show me this in prophecy. All right, and that goes for any other Israelite camp that teach this as well. I believe the ISUPK teaches it as well, and I don't know if this was part of the original teachings from going back to the old school. Maybe one of the elder apostles can fill us in on that, but they never taught. They don't teach this. All right, and the scriptures say to continue in the thing which you learn. All right, so when we see these type of breakdowns, the scriptures say, Romans 16 and 17, mark them which cause offenses and divisions. All right, contrary to the doctrine which you have learned, and avoid them. We're supposed to mark them and avoid them. So that's why we watch them, because the word mark means to watch carefully. The Greek word is a scopeo, which means basically put the scope on them, watch them. Observe them, and when you see these errors, you're to avoid them and warn others. So anyway, let's continue.
Beast, it make up what? It make up the whole body of Edom. All the Edomite nations. Now today, the 10 horn is not just 10. All these Edomite nations in Europe have joined them 10 horns. So it's like 29, 30 or something like that. Or 29 or 30, all Caucasian race. The European Union, you are not going to find no dark nation, no Chinese, no Arabs part of the European Union. Okay? Because the European Union is them 10 horns. Y'all understand? Originally, when it started off, was originally these 10 countries. But now it's over 20 some or 30 some of them have joined. Like even last year, I think I'm here.
Yeah, you can look up the Western European Union flag, and you'll see there's 10 stars there, because it started with those 10 European countries, and then later they added more European countries, and then with the dissolution of the Soviet Union, you had other countries in that area that.
Yeah, you had the EU. You get the EU. The official EU flag is a blue field with 12 stars, because we used to pass it every weekend. We used to pass the EU consulate. We had the flag out there in Manhattan, and it was originally supposed to be 10. It was 12. You had and I went through this before. You had Great Britain and Ireland, which is one part of the same kingdom. So Ireland, one of the stars should represent Ireland. And you have Spain and Portugal. The Portuguese are really Spaniards, so they're really supposed to be 10 of them. Now there's like 30.
That was a part of the Soviet Union that ended up basically over. Okay, but let's continue.
Nations joining the European Union. Okay, part of what started the war in Ukraine is because Ukraine wanted to join NATO and the European Union. Okay, so every year or so, all the white nations in Europe, all of them is clinging and trying to join European Union. Because when you join the European Union, what they do, they share technological advances. They share economic wealth amongst each other. Okay, that's what they do. Okay, as America is ahead, that's what they do. So no dark nation is going to be brought into that beast system. You understand? No dark nation going to be brought into the 7 heads and 10 horns. It's talking about all European, all Caucasian, all Edomites.
Well, Russia is not European. Yeah, they're occupied by Edomites, but they're not European. That's not a European nation.
Well, it's considered Eastern Europe. Eastern Bloc nations. That's all the way in the east. So they are Europeans, but Eastern Europeans.
So y'all still need to do a class and explain how Russia is a part of the seven heads. Okay.
They can't, because they don't do no research. They can't. If they did research, they went into the history, they wouldn't teach that. But you know, Nate gotta spell over them people. You know, if Nate says it, it's got to be true, baby.
Okay, read that again for me.
Verse 7, and the angel said unto me.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go skip now. You know, they're going into the trade war and Trump and all these other events. Then they go into Revelation 13.
Yeah, if this trade war it goes on, America's going to suffer. America's going to suffer. Okay, you got certain knuckleheads saying that China's going. No, China will suffer somewhat, but they got all these other allies. They got these other nations that Europe, the rest of Europe, other Oriental nations, Africa. There's more things that are exported from Russia and America than America into Russia. You go to BJ's, you want to get the 75-inch screen TV, you ain't gonna see it, and if you see it, it might be double. So this guy he really just fucked up. He's not thinking straight, you know. And you got you got the Congress, you got the Supreme Court, you got the military, and either they part of it and making it, they're gonna put the blame on him, or they ain't got no fucking backbone. And see, when going to the history, when the emperors got out of line, it was the military that straightened them out. If they didn't get straightened out, they would take them out. That was called the Praetorian Guard. So the Praetorian Guard is here, but where's their backbone? So maybe they're just pulling the strings. So when you gotta blame somebody, you blame him. To see the American people, for the most part, they don't know that there's people behind the scenes. They don't. These people have been. You can thank the public school system.
Y'all understand? All nations wander after Spain, Britain, and these nations. Read on.
And they worship the dragon.
And they worship Satan. Read on.
Which gave power unto the beast.
Because that's who gave the white man his power, Satan. Read on.
And they worship the beast.
And they worship the...
See, when you go into Revelation 13, is jumping from the first beast, all right, which was the Roman Empire, which was the fourth beast in Daniel, the 7th chapter, all right, and then it talks about it gets its revitalization, it gets its second wind, later in history, and it comes back as this beast system in which America would be the dominating force of this beast system. So when you get around the 11th verse, that's when it goes into America. All right, the dragon that will the beast having two horns like a lamb, but it spoke as a dragon. That's when it goes into America with the two-party beast system, which is modeled after the first Roman structure when you had the patricians and the plebeians, all right, so on and so forth, and you can go into the history on that. All right, so this is Romans 13.
Your patricians today are the Republicans, the plebeians are the Democrats. This is saying everything's reincarnated.
13 is about basically the beast system starting with the Roman Empire. All right.
Beast, the white man, read on.
saying, Who is like unto the beast?
Uh-huh.
Who is able to make war with him?
Who is able to make war with France, with Britain? Read on.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy.
That's true true Christianity. Okay? And him calling himself a Jew. Read on.
And power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
Read on.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God.
Read on.
To blaspheme his name.
Read on.
Why not include some of the things they've been speaking at the at Davos, which is right over there in a country that's part of the 10 Horns. All right, it's in Davos over in was it Brussels?
Switzerland, Davos, Switzerland.
And over there, they talking a lot of futuristic stuff. All right, basically trying to act like they're the Most High. You had Klaus Schwab, who was originally, heading it, and you had his mentor, all right, Yuval Noah Harari, who made
Klaus Schwab. I get him mixed up too. Klaus Schwab. There's a Klaus Schwab, and this guy's Klaus Schwab.
all these blasphemous statements.
And Harari is a citizen of the current state of Israel, and he's a happy person. He's an openly happy person. So they're not the people. When the true people come back to that land, they establish a kingdom, which they say they established it in a particular year. The laws would be perfected over there and through the whole world. So them guys ain't the people.
Against the Most High, His only begotten Son, and basically saying that we're gonna play God on earth. There ain't gonna be no need for a sky god. We get to create, God, or all type of blasphemous statements. Very, very lofty. And they're setting up a system, all right, which they're gonna try to dominate the world with, and it's through technological means now. It's all advanced, which the old Roman Empire didn't have the advancement of the technology that it has now. So that's why they're gonna, come with that full force, and people are gonna wander after it. They're gonna worship it because of the miracles. In Christianity, what miracles are you seeing from the Christians?
Man, Christians don't even want to be Christians. Christians don't even want to be Christians.
But with this new technocracy that they're trying to build globally, they're gonna see that this technology, they're gonna be doing things that are what's considered supernatural on the left hand side, man. Like you got Neuralink, that Elon Musk is pushing, and several people then went through the test.
In Neuralink, you have another company. I think you have two other companies that are even more advanced in Neuralink. I believe one of them, I did a lesson on it. I think it was called Neurotech, which is far more advanced than Neuralink, and I believe there's another one. So it's not just one company. And see, like weapons that the U.S. government use and weapons around the world, they're made by scientists. But, they maybe for commercial use or whatever, scientists make these inventions and they'll say, oh, the U.S. government can, use it. So this technology that these corporations, the Neuralink, Neurotech, and I believe there's another one, help me out, y'all, that the government is going to, utilize that technology. which is the MOTB system.
You know, motherfuckers playing video games with their brain. You know, monkeys playing video games, restoring eyesight, you know, with the brain technology. You know, they come in with all these devices now. All right. You got the new technology that they're introducing through that new series. Well, it's not a new, but the new season of the series Black Mirror, called the nubbin device. You know, you attach it to your head. You know, it goes into your brain, and you get to, you know, relive, you know, certain memorial events in your life. You know, you can damn near time travel through the device. So this man is trying to be like the Most High on earth. So what do you think his image is? If he's trying to be like the Most High, you know, he's trying to do supernatural things, you know, like a God, then what is his image? That's what you got to ask yourself. Is it really Chesray? You know, a image that somebody drew or painted? There's no image of Chesray where.
Yeah, Caesar Borgia ain't making no goddamn comeback. Christianity ain't making no goddamn. The whole world gonna worship Caesar Borgia and Christianity. Are you kidding, man? You know what I mean? There's a couple billion Muslims out there. They ain't gonna bow down to no Christianity, man.
It's been given life. That is speaking. How does that make sense? Give us an example of that, where he made an image of Chesray start speaking to people and said, you got to worship my image if you want to eat and buy and sell and, you know, basically function in the world. People are getting persecuted for that image. Well, not for that image, but, you know, people are getting persecuted, you know, if
Hey, wait a minute. Them Salvadorians and stuff that Trump is taking them back to their country, them motherfuckers worship Caesar. So they should stay here. They worship Caesar.
You stand on the beliefs of the Bible in different parts of the world. So that's a contradiction, but let's keep going.
And his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven.
So he said he is the people of God. All these things he have done. He said the angels look like him, God look like him. Read on.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them.
So he made war with us. He made war with us on this side of the world, and he made war with us in Africa, and he overcame us. You all understand? That's what he did. Who this is talking about first and foremost? Who this is talking about? This is talking about Britain, Spain, France. You all understand? This is what we're reading here is before America came into power. Okay, because when we keep on reading, they're going to tell you when America came into power. Y'all understand?
And no mention of Russia. But no mention of Russia. So you see how inconsistent this is. He's not going to name Russia because Russia is never a part of that.
Russia was founded in 865 AD. So it had nothing to do with the Edomite rulership of Rome. And they ain't allies with them now.
And Russia wasn't a part of the European countries that came to make war with the saints. So why is Russia even in the conversation?
Russia was that vast, that was no man's land. That was no man's land, man. There was nothing up there. You had them rough Scythians go up there, and the barbarians. They would go up there to stake a claim to new territory.
You know?
So this beast was
And to show you that the Russian icons, who you think was painting all them paintings of Jake's? They were the Scythians and the barbarians. They brought Christianity with them. And at that time, they were all Jake. You see one painting, one icon of a Edomite. They were all Jakes.
conquering the world and all of that. He made war with us and he overcame us. This beast is talking about the 10 horns and the 7 heads. You all understand? 10 horns and the 7 heads. The 8 head ain't right up as yet. Keep on reading.
And it was
All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna skip forward because he's gonna go into the mark, of course. You see how they see? Look, they keep bringing up Chesre. As Chesre is old news, man. Most people now already know the Lord never looked like that. All right, nobody trips off of that image anymore. So this is so outdated. Okay, but let me skip forward.
And his image should be killed. When did the beast system really set up? Where America ruling all the earth? When was that set up? In when? 1945, right? Okay, after 1945, America set up the IMF. Europe and them gave their power to America and so forth. Okay, then America start reinforcing that white image of Christ on the earth.
That was back then. Ain't nobody pushing that now. That was back then. World War II, the Michael patron saints and these patron saints and the Caesar. There was a modern Caesar, and that was back then. Ain't nobody. Look, that's when they made the movies on Jesus Christ and Moses, the 10 Commandments and all that in the 50s and the 60s. The greater, they don't make the movies no more. Because Jake would come against that. Because everybody, even Edomites know, well, even white people, they'll say, well, we do know that, he was from the Middle East. Middle Eastern people are dark-skinned people. And they had curly hair. That's why the new image of Caesar on the Jehovah's Witness tracks, they don't got him looking like the old one. They got him looking like damn near like a Puerto Rican.
Okay, so what we're reading here is going into the future. Okay, it's going into the time that we're going to be living in. Read that again one more time.
verse 50.
Fair use, fair use. You hear the music in the background. It's not, fair use. I'm not making money off of this.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
So he gave that white image of Christ. He gave that white.
What? Here it is, 2025, man. Ain't nobody gonna, like I said, you got 2 billion? Let me do this right here, right here. Come on, right over here. The number of Muslims on this planet. Look at that. The estimated global Muslim population is around 1.9 billion. So we're talking 2 billion people are Muslims. Do you really think they're gonna start bowing down to some white Jesus? And you know what I'm gonna do? Let me open this up. Okay, it's gonna potentially grow, reaching nearly 3 billion by 2025. So it's growing. So here we got a chart here. Let me open this up. See, we got all this information at our fingertips. This is Africa, the continent of Africa. You got the northern, western, a northeast. That's Islamic. Down here, you got a lot of Christian South African and so forth. This is Islam. Islam. This is the Arab world. All this Arabs. Pakistan, Persia, Iran, Arabs. Well, Muslims. The Pakistanis and the Persians are Edomites, but they embrace the religion of Islam. This is Eastern Europe. That's Western Europe. And it says the West, so my Western Europe, and this is the uttermost West. But Islam is mostly here. So all these people are going to start bowing down to Caesar Borgia. Come on, dog. Come on, man.
Image of Caesar Borgia, the life of Christ. Read on.
That doesn't make any sense. So they formalized into power in the mid 1940s, going into the 1950s. You know, they created these alliances, and we're talking about an economic, political alliance, and that gave power to the image of Cesare.
And you hear that music in the background. That's what you call superfluous, which is gimmicks. This is why we don't do no gimmick. We don't have no music. And they just tell you, hey, when you if you ever went to college or regular school, they ain't had no music playing in the background. When you was in a 10th grade, they ain't had no music in the background while you studying. If you ever went to college, you heard the lecture, you didn't have no music. The professor had to put the right music on. That's a gimmick right there. They'll play that heroic music, like when Nate's speaking, the heroic music comes on. You know? You be watching Nate, you be thinking a horse is going to come out the back. Pegasus is ready to take Nate back to the heavens. It's all gimmicks.
How to explain that? Make that make sense, bro. How do you come to that conclusion?
Because Nate told him.
You know? And mind you, at this time, they're formalizing.
Because Nate said he was a rat. Inside joke. It was there. I had to grab it.
Against the Soviet Union, which Russia was a part of. So going back to the Russia question, how in the hell is Russia a part of the beast? And why are we talking about the image of Cesare? What did any of that have to do with each other? They don't make sense.
Because they don't got the answers, man. They don't got the answers.
Man. But like it says in Proverbs, the simple believeth every word, but the prudent look well to his going. You got to rightly divide the word of truth. And you got to be accurate when you're going into the prophecy and breaking it down using historical reference. This ain't adding up, man.
That the image of the beast should both speak.
Yeah, the math ain't mathing.
And cause that as many.
And it's speaking now. If you're looking at the world around you and its transformation into a whole new system. Monetary, the monetary system, cash being obsolete. They're going digital. Everything is being ruled by AI. The replacement of the labor force with AI, robots, automation. Like you had those dock workers that was threatening to strike and leave because of automation. Everything around us is starting to be centralized and it's being turned into a technocracy. And that's exactly what Trump's administration entails. The transformation into a global technocracy where everything is controlled, under AI and its technology, the fourth industrial revolution. All right, which goes back to the secret council of the wicked where they're speaking these blasphemies. Come on, man. And that's why John talks about the buying and the selling. Because that's all instrumental to what the beast system is doing. All right, and it all goes against it. It's in opposition to the divine order of the Most High, the way the Most High set things up. So this AI thing, they're trying to turn it into, the image of a god, to make you worship it, and with this God, we giving it power. It's gonna have life to it. It's gonna, be able to do things that even man can't do. Read 2 Thessalonians 2. He's gonna come with the workings of Shaitan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders. That's, what the image is gonna be designed to do. The image of Cesare is just a damn picture, man. A painting, a portrait.
As would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
So read on.
And he calls it all.
So that would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. No. Let me show you all something. Go to Revelation 12 and 13.
Revelation chapter 12 and verse 13.
Yo, hey, I need our next reader. I got to finish this up quick. Revelation 12 and 13.
Yes, sir.
So let me skip.
Bible is talking about and teach it. That's what make you a prophet. You could understand the secrets of God.
Prophets.
So they're going into the persecution and the martyrdom of the prophets, that's going to take place in Babylon. But what does that have to do with Cesare? What does that have to do with the image of Cesare? You telling us that the image of Cesare is going to get the prophets killed? Because who will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So you saying that if people don't worship that image, you saying that the prophets of the Lord, because we got Cesare with the devil's horns on his head, that's what's going to get us persecuted and put in prison and eventually go up under the guillotine and get decapitated? Come on, man. This is so outdated and it's definitely not true. Come on, man.
God had avenged you on her.
So God have avenged the apostles and the prophets on her. By what? Destroying America. Proving what? The prophets and the saints, they will be killed here in America. You understand? They will make war with us and they will kill a lot of us. Now jump back to where you was at.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
Read on.
That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
So those of us that would not worship the image of the beast, there's a system that will be set up where if you do not worship...
Come on, man. Come on, dog. It's 2025. You mean you really believe that this guy's gonna make a comeback? Christianity gonna make a comeback, and all of the majority of Muslims gonna come on, man. Come on, this shit is played out. This is some old shit from 15 years ago that you used to teach. You gotta you gotta change with the times, but man, this is old school breakdowns which don't make no goddamn sense.
The image of the beast. You do not follow Christianity, you will be killed. It will be set up here in America.
That's crazy, man. That's wild. They're already attack us for our belief system, which is based off of the Bible, the same Bible that Christians read from. So how are we going to be persecuted because we're not following Christianity? Christianity, like, more and more people are falling away from the Christian religion. More people are denouncing it. A lot of them because they've been ear hustling the prophets. They've been listening and watching, and they're seeing that Christianity just ain't it. All right, Christianity is the false prophet. All right, because it comes from the Catholic Church. Okay, but by no means are they gonna. Esau's gonna check to see if you worship Chesre, and if you don't, he's gonna put you to death. Come on, bro. Y'all still pushing this like this is horrible. But I'm waiting to see what y'all gonna say the mark is right here. Let's finish this out. We'll close up.
Now let me show you all what Trump said. Play that video with Trump. I send you all that video with Trump here. First, you know what? Read Revelation 20. Revelation 20 and 4. Revelation 20 and 4. And then show that video with Trump.
Revelation chapter 20 and verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them.
Read on.
And judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus.
So we was testifying the word of God for the witness of Jesus. He saw the souls of them that was beheaded. This goes back to Revelation.
Yeah, and those same souls, they preached Yahweh. They taught his name. Okay. Remember when they was talking about, this was back like when Trump was in his first term. It was towards the end of his first term, but there was the anti-Semitic narrative going out, you know, that whole psyop, and then they was talking about extremism, and they were showing signs of Yahweh name even in these news segments, because there was random signs being posted in different neighborhoods that said Yahweh is coming, or Yahweh is coming back, or something like that, if we remember. And the world doesn't know the Messiah's name by Yahweh. We're the main ones that's pushing that, you know. And it was when it was pushing the media, you know, the narrative on it, you know, it was with negative connotation. It was, you know, pushed to be seen in a negative light. So anything associated with that name would have to be associated with, you know, extremism. Jesus is not a threat. You're not going to be persecuted because you didn't, because you preach Jesus. Okay. Now maybe in the UK, you know, and I mean, eventually, you know, that those unrighteous decrees will make its way over here, but they're going to push against us because we're teaching the actual truth. All right. But let's finish out.
18. Okay. The deaths of the saints and the prophets. Read on.
And for the word of God.
And they were killed for the word of God. Read on.
And which had not worshipped the beast.
That did not worship the beast. The beast here is talking about who? Huh? Is mainly going into America. You understand? Okay? The beast is going into America. Okay? That did not worship America, because America is the head of the beast.
What? The beast is the system that you were just breaking down. This 7 heads and 10 horns.
Yeah, the beast is being fully a part of the fourth industrial what do you call it? Revolution. So it's a system. It's not America. It's a system that's going to come out of America and Europe.
yeah, America is the spearhead, just like it talks about the great whore in Revelation 17 that rides upon the image of the beast. You know, which right now the Most High is dividing them up. You know, they're not even getting along. Eventually, according to the prophecy, they're going to turn on America. He says that the beast shall hate the whore and burn her. But it's when it talks about worshiping the image of the beast, it's talking about the system. All right, and Chesre, that image no longer has any power like that. All right.
Okay, Revelation 13, the beast, that other beast that come up there, it's America. Okay, read on.
Which had not worshipped the beast,
That did not worship America.
neither his image,
Neither you had the image that America pushed or how Christ looked. Read on, meaning you were not following what? Christianity. Read on.
But the image originated in Europe. You know, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, they painted up Cesare to be the new Messiah. But does that mean that they were going to make us worship that image right here in the States, and especially in these last days? So when the prophets get persecuted and martyred, is Cesare is going to be the main focal point? Come on, man. That's why you gotta, you know, when you listen to these guys, you gotta analyze what they're saying and teaching. All right, use discernment.
neither had received his mark upon their foreheads,
Neither you receive this man mark up in your mind. Read on.
or in their hands.
Nor in your hands. Okay, from there, I want.
The mark in your minds, and yeah, you already know where this is going. So they're gonna double down on it not being the C-hip, you know, the technology, you know. So this is why a lot of people that follow them, you know, if they're not of the elect, they're gonna fall into that ditch along with these guys, man. Okay, they're
Yeah, if there's any elected one, they're going to wake up. They're going to get from around them.
and that's why the Lord said, if a prophet, you know, basically speak a lie that the Lord did not say, he said the Lord said that he have deceived that prophet. Let me get that. And that's why it says to try the spirit by the spirit, whether they be, because false prophets have gone out into the world. You know, you going into this and you breaking this down like that, you're a false prophet, man, because this is, you know, this is not the true interpretation of these prophecies. A real prophet can interpret it correctly. Ezekiel 14:9, it says, and if the prophet be deceived when he have spoken a thing, I, the Lord, have deceived that prophet, and I will stretch out my hand upon him and will destroy him from the midst of my people Israel. And they shall bear the punishment of their iniquity. The punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seeketh unto him. You know, so, you know, you can't see through the glitz and the glamour and the purple and the gold and, you know, the gimmicks, and analyze what these men are teaching in their actions, then you know, you're going to be deceived, you know, through those men, those false prophets, and you're going to bear the punishment that comes with following the false prophet. That's what the Lord said. Okay, that the house of Israel may go no more astray from me, neither be polluted anymore with all their transgressions, but that they may be my people, and I may be their God, saith the Lord God. Okay. So you already see where this is going.
Created right now. You know, when you look on
And count the number of the beast.
So what is the worship the white Jesus? Okay, they will kill you if you don't follow American philosophies and politics. What do I mean? If you say that the people in the land is not the Jews, soon you're going to be put to death for saying that. I'm telling you all. For you saying you are Jew, soon you're going to be put to death for saying that. You know,
buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast,
so you got to get the mark or the name of the beast. Read on.
or the number of his name.
Or the number of his name. Read on.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast.
So what is the number of the beast? Read on.
For
So he's not going to go into the buying and selling. He refused to he's just going to breeze right past that because they already know. They know it makes more sense when you teach it the way we teach it. This same beast system that's alive right now, all right, that's shifting the course of the world. You're gonna need to be a part of the system in order to buy and sell. So how are they gonna do it? You're gonna need an implantable device that they're gonna put in your body that's gonna give them total control over you. All right, and they're gonna be able to control the affairs of your living. All right, your monetary system, which is dealing with your buying and selling, your transactions. All right, being able to sell a service, being able to make purchases.
Yeah, when that happens, then we're going to know who are the true men of the Most High, based upon what your actions are.
So on and so forth, and all that information will be on the feed. All right, wherein with cash, you know, you can't overlook cash transactions. You don't know what's going on when you're dealing with cash. Esau wants oversight over everything. So this is a way that he's going to be able to, you know, mark you and trace you. Okay, and brand mark you, because once it's in your body, you know, you're pretty much property now. All right, and it'll never go and break that word chai sai stigma. All right, stigma means what? It means to cut into an incision. All right, and it just so happened that Jai, you know, which is a part of, you know, when you break that down in the Greek, it's part of that breakdown. You have Shlaki, I think it's she, you know, the head of China, the president of China, you know, with what he's doing with having China, you know, basically dismantle America in this trade war, is what's going to lead to the destruction of this economic structure, and that's what's going to coincide with going into the MOTB system, where everything going digital. China is already there, so it's all interesting, but I wouldn't expect them to see those things.
Yeah, there's an elite over the whole planet, the super elite that you don't see. The hidden masters that they could control what China's to do in America and the European nations. There's people that you don't see. These are just front people. They're the same thing with these emperors. The emperors are just front people. The real people that rule Rome were the military behind the scenes. That's why they took certain Caesars out.
So, yeah, man, this is horrible, but hey, you know, this is why we come in and we have to, you know, break these things down. All right, but anyway, I'm gonna end off with that. I'm gonna give all honor, praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and to the next one, Shalom.
Shalom.